Hey, Music Connection. J.D. and Bud here from the Boxmasters. We read your publication, and we have it right here in the studio, so keep doing what you're doing.
All right, so we're sitting here with JD and Billy Bob Thornton of the Boxmasters. Thanks for sitting with us at Music Connection Magazine. Really appreciate it. So let's kind of jump in. A lot of people know you specifically with acting, directing, the film world. Can you take us a little bit back, further regarding your music and how that got started? I know the acting, the film side came first, but I did, a little bit of research, and I know that you were more of a musician back then. So how did, the film, start, and let's start from there.
Right. Well, actually, I started music way before movies. Movies happened kind of just by chance. Mm-hmm. I never really knew much about movies. But, I had my first band when I was 10 or 11, something like that. And then I had a lot of bands in high school and college and all that kind of thing. Worked as a roadie. Came to LA to play music and somehow ended up in somebody's acting class. And next thing you know, got a couple of scenes on, TV shows like Knots Landing and Matlock, junk like that. And then, it's not junk, I used to watch it. But
you still watch Matlock,
I think, every morning. and then started working pretty steadily at it. So I didn't go back to music. In the 80s, I didn't play as much music. I mostly, was making a little bit of a living because I came out here pretty broke, and then ended up doing a few movies that were a little more high profile and Blood In, Blood Out, and things like that. And then wrote Sling Blade in '94, and then that kind of kicked things off in a big way, but then I started playing music again, also during the '90s. So it was all kind of, side by side there for a while. And these days, we tour once or twice a year, make 2 or 3 records a year, and then every now and then I'll go do a movie or something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I know, with Boxmasters, you guys came together as a collective. You guys have more bandmates, obviously, right?
Yes.
Of course.
We're the 2 official Boxmasters because we're the ones here in town. Mm-hmm. But because we have guys that play with us live, and we did just finish a record with where we brought our lead guitar player and bass player out here to record with us. But for the most part, Billy and I make the records, and it's been different incarnations over the years. We started as a 3-piece that had like 7 or 8 guys on stage when we'd play at the very beginning. That stayed at like 6 or 7 members for quite a while on the road, and for a little while it was 4 members as the official band on the front of the record, and then the last 4 years or so, it's been just Billy and I. And okay. But we always have great guys that play with us live, because Billy plays drums and does pretty much most of the harmony vocals on the records, but live he's the front man, and we hire a drummer to take his spot. And on the recordings I play bass and guitars and stuff, and so live I just play rhythm guitar and do some of the harmony vocals. And
because we don't have 8 arms.
Right.
Yeah, we just we do what we can, and also it's like we also have to do the business of the band, and so
he does.
Well, so it's like we run our own tours, and we have a booking agent, but we don't have a manager. We just kind of do what we have to do to kind of be able to do it, financially. If we have to give money to a whole bunch of other people along the way, then it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because then you're just either paying somebody to do stuff that you can do yourself,
okay,
or you're breaking even.
Sure.
And my kids need a lot of food and shoes, they're
Right.
they're small, so it's so basically we just figured out how to do this as lean as possible, and
It's a
we get to record a lot.
Yeah, it's a big production,
Right.
a big show, but in terms of the business part, it sure helps to just have the 10% agent as opposed to adding the 15% manager, because the next thing you know, that's a quarter of your money, and then the other half's taken by taxes.
Right.
So JD's gotten really good at running all of our business for the band. He even does the merchandise and stuff, because he's the only one with any brains. I just kind of...
I'm the only one who can work a computer.
That's
basically
true.
what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So, it's you just figure out how to do it, and luckily, the people that we work with, as well as our fans, kind of put up with us running our business this way.
Absolutely. How did you guys initially connect?
Well, Billy was doing one of his solo records for Universal, or is that Universal? And it was called Beautiful Door, and his engineer, Jim, got a real job doing a sports broadcast mixing. And so Billy needed somebody to help him finish Beautiful Door, and so I got hired for 2 weeks to do overdubs. And somewhere in the second or third week, he asked me to record a song with him, because there was none of the other musicians were around, and it had a cool sound to it, this first song we did, and so that kind of inspired him even more than me, because I was just like happy to be here. And but it really gave Billy the spark that, hey, we should try some other things, and those things turned into the Boxmasters, and now it's that was the end of 2006, beginning of 2007, and my math is not very good, so it's like 17 years,
Right. Yeah.
something like that. It's been a long time, but we've basically been at it ever since, and
Cool.
so we've recorded. We put out our 15th record
I think so, yeah.
this
past
past summer. That was our 15th release. We've recorded a ton of other ones, but it's been a great run, and honestly, it's like we keep getting better. We keep figuring things out more and more, and we keep finding things that inspire us and that make us want to work on the next record or the next song and all that. It's we haven't gotten in a rut of like, oh, we're just going to make another record that sounds like this other record that we did. It's like, oh, we've got this new idea. Let's do that. Let's work on that project.
Right.
So we're always inspired. And
We only been back from Europe. We were just on tour a couple of months, and we've already made another
yeah, we
one.
finished and mixed a whole nother record. That was the one where Raymond and Kirk came out and played on.
You guys recorded it out there?
Here.
No, yeah, we just
Okay.
cut everything in here,
Okay.
record, mix. So now we'll start on the next one here real soon. And earlier in the year, we finished 3 records that we've been working on kind of since the tour before, which was that ended in the summer of 2022. So we did like 3 records in the fall and early winter.
It's kind of like an airport where the airplanes are all stacked up, ready to go. But the record label, they'll only put out 1 record a year, So we find other ways to put the extra records out. Like we'll have them on our website, we sell them live. And that way the fans don't have to wait, a whole year for another record. We can do specialty records and put them out in the meantime.
For sure. So you guys are independent, strictly? Or you guys still with Universal?
No,
we're on another label. It's
it's called 30 Tigers.
30 Tigers. It's a great sort of indie label that's kind of artsy, It's a really great label, and
They're kind of the definition of artist friendly.
Right.
And so
yeah.
our only problem is that they are so artist friendly that everybody wants to be on them. So they get a full schedule,
Right.
like a year in advance. And so, I was talking to our project manager, Cheryl, and it's like, hey, we know we're going to tour in August, September, so we want to have the next record lined up for then. And she's like, oh, okay, well, we're already scheduled up through September, so I got to figure out getting you guys in the schedule. It's like, come on, give us a spot. We just
exactly.
need a little sliver of space to to fit in there. But
Well, really
But they're
good air
great.
traffic controllers can.
well,
Put a plane in between
Cheryl's
two
going to
others
make it
pretty
happen.
good.
I'm not. We just don't have a date, but we're pretty sure that we'll find a good spot, and they know that we're going to sell most of our records while we're on tour, so they that makes the most sense, is that it'll be during that time, and
Record stores are kind of gone now. You know what I mean? I mean, you find them here and there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
most of your records you sell, on the internet or at live shows.
Yeah.
no, I mean the live show thing is the main driver, and it used to be that you would sell mostly CDs out there, but that is almost dried up too.
Right.
People want vinyl.
Yeah.
They want other things that they can't get other places.
Exclusive.
They want something special, or a special shirt, or just a special picture, or something that kind of helps commemorate the event.
Right.
And so we try to have a bunch of knickknacks and things that maybe people won't just find anywhere. But
Years ago, when the band first started, in our merch on tour, we sold condoms.
Oh, yeah?
They came in, just like the regular little box, like you get them.
Right.
But it had the picture of the band on the thing, So we
used to
thought
have
that was pretty
condoms
clever.
and ashtrays and
Oh yeah,
shot
lighters,
glasses
all
and stuff like that back then. Back when we were younger and could do that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Probably get mad at us now if we sold
Right.
those.
That also wasn't our idea. That was
No, it wasn't
we had a
our
manager at that time, and
Yeah.
all that stuff was her idea, because we
Yeah.
aren't smart enough to think of good stuff like that.
That's pretty creative.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm sure
It made
went well
sense.
at the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
People liked it very much.
Cool.
But that's fun. You get something that's kitschy and unique. It's like, okay, people are like, oh, we want to get that.
For sure.
Yeah,
So the Boxmasters name, how'd you guys come up with that?
there are two stories. There was a band in the '60s called the Box Tops, and since we're so influenced by the '60s, we wanted a band name that sounded like a '60s band name, and that you could make a nice '60s logo out of. It's all original music, but we're so influenced by that period of time, the Beatles and the Byrds and all these people. Exactly, Kinks, all of them. And so if you take the box from Box Tops, and on RCA Records, there was a dog, listening to the phonograph thing,
right, yeah.
and it said his master's voice on it. So you take box from Box Tops, masters from the RCA Records, you got Boxmasters.
Okay.
And then the other story is that's what they used to call Playboys where I grew up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like Max, like Playboy, right? Players?
Boxmasters.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Heartbreak
yeah.
Kids.
Yeah, right.
Okay, cool.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it kind of, there's some breadcrumbs there. You just follow them, you'll figure out exactly where it came from.
Gotcha. Nice.
Or they're also, good at handling packages and cardboard boxes
that
and
kind of stuff.
shipping and
Guys who are good at packing things.
Right. For
Yeah.
sure. Definitely. Cool. Tell us about this place that we're in, Pepper Tree Hill Studios. Is the origins of it.
Well, we bought it like 3 years ago about, and bought it from another musician who moved away to Nashville, Jason Wade, who's a great guy, and he was in a band called Lifehouse, or is in a band called Lifehouse. And my wife had been trying to talk me into it. It's my wife and my daughter and myself, and she wanted to move out here because she loved this area, and she said it's got a studio, so we came and looked at it. It's like, oh, yeah, this is world class. So she finally talked me into doing it because, being raised poor, I don't like to trade down. I like to trade up, but not money-wise. In other words, I like lateral moves,
Okay.
So when they came down on the price, I said, okay, we'll go do it. And we don't regret it. Before that, we worked at A&M Studios over in Hollywood on La Brea there, Henson, and we worked there for years. And before that, we were over in Beverly Hills in a studio that I'd bought from Slash called the Cave, and that's where the Boxmasters started.
Okay.
Was in the Cave. So our first few records were made there in that one, and then the middle days were over at A&M, and now the last 3 years have been here. And I got to tell you, it's great because when you have a clock, if you're going over to another studio, you go in there and you got to. It's like, okay, we've got 5 songs written, but we're only in there Thursday till Sunday, and you're rushing and all this kind of thing. Here, if we get an idea, we come down here and mess with it, and if we screw it up, we start over again. It's since we own.
Well, also our stuff is all set up.
Yeah.
It's like you'll see, it's like everything is mic'd up and wired and ready to go. So if we're here and somebody came in and is like, hey, I want to play a piano part, it's like, okay, we just turn on the piano track,
right,
and it's ready to record.
Yeah.
Where if you go to a studio like that, one of the big, classic, amazing studios, they you have to bring your stuff in. You have to bring your drums and your amps and your guitars, and they just have a big, beautiful, empty room with some microphones, and you have to set everything up. And for a while, it's like I was putting everything in my van, dragging it down there to the studio, and then eventually it was like we're taking too much stuff, and so we'd have to have it delivered. And you still have to set it all up. You have to tear it all down, and that's the biggest drag. Is you've worked for 4 days, for 14 hours a day, and there it is at midnight on Sunday night, and you're like, yeah, we got to put all our stuff in cases and get it ready to get picked up in the morning.
Yeah, because all of our stuff was over at our storage place. It's a music storage place. A lot of bands use it over in the valley.
But it's
and
just
then,
a warehouse.
Yeah, it's a warehouse. And then they would, it would be delivered there. It's just sitting out there on the floor. By the time you're done setting up, even though you have assistants there at the studio, by the time you're done setting up, you still have to get the sounds. So then you got to go through every instrument, get sounds and stuff. Our thing is wired. So we walk in, it's ready to go, and so there's no time wasted. And and plus, we've got the board that we've had since the beginning. I've had that board 23 years and real used to it,
Nice.
and so it's a
What kind of
good
board is it? An E? Or no?
Oh no,
It's a Trident 80B.
Yeah, it's a British board, Trident 80B. Yeah,
Okay.
and bought that from Slash too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. His
But
snake
for the
pit stuff was on
most part is we have it set up so that it's easy to record when we're ready to record. It's just a matter of turn the computer on and put the track in to record, and we're ready to go. So that was the main thing. When I was when we put all our stuff in here, it's like I just want to make sure that there's nothing in the way of us just recording right away.
Right.
It's like it's flip a switch, there you go. It's like you don't have to reconfigure the console to be in record mode or mix mode or anything like that. It's like in there it's always mix mode, out here it's always record mode, and it just makes it super simple. And also it's like if we record something and then 2 years pass and we come back to it, the sound is pretty much the same. It's we're jumping back and forth between we'll write a song and then record some stuff on it, and then we'll leave it for a year, and then we'll come back to it and dive back into it. So it's just a super comfortable space that sounds amazing, and that's all you can really ask for in a studio.
And JD's a world-class engineer who worked as an engineer before we got together, and so we don't even have a middle person to try to have to explain everything to.
Yeah, the skill sets here.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's just really the two of us in here making the records, most of the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that new song with Tasha, Canadian singer, As I Ever Was, tell us about that, how that came about.
Well, it's pretty cool. There's a woman named Robin Flans who's a music journalist, and she called us up and said, hey, because she'd done interviews with us before and done some liner notes and things, and really great person. And she said they're doing this project, and it has to do with, youth doing they're going to have a record label and they're talking about the problems of the day, you know. And she presented us with a few of them, and I said, well, mental health is something we're pretty concerned with, and we've both had struggles with it, and our people in our families, especially mine. And so we thought that's a good subject for us, Who You Got. And they showed us a video of 3 girls singing on this other project they'd done. And we really liked Tasha, and she had this song, As I Ever Was, and it was right down our alley. And so Jason, who's kind of heading up the project, he and Robin came over here with Tasha, and we heard her play it on the piano, and we said, well, you know what? Her voice and this whole thing fits right in with what we could do to produce a song on her. And we didn't want to make, you know, we're not guys that make beats, you know. We play organically, you know. It's all real instruments.
Make beats right there on that drum set.
Well, I make
right
beats on
you.
that, but you know, they're actual beats that I play. But one way or the other, we said, look, if you'll trust us and just let us play the song as if we were recording this song, and you come in and sing it. She did. She did trust us, and she came in and did several passes of it once we had the song finished. And she's amazing, and there's not much to produce because she's so awesome, you know, a great singer, and her song was so good, and it's also for a good cause, you know, and so if you can't, you know, if you can't use your art for something that betters people or that people can hear and maybe say, hey, I'm not the only one out here that's like that, you know. So it was a really worthy project for us, and Tasha's amazing, and I hope she becomes a huge star, you know.
Yeah, because if the music business was like it was, you know, 20 years ago, this song would be a major hit song. It's like, I hate the word hit song, but this would be a very successful and meaningful and influential song.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully it'll make its rounds on, you know, TikTok and Instagram or something and get used as, you know, one of those songs that people do dances for or do things with, because it's a great song. And even if you don't like dig into the meaning of it, like melodically and, you know, hookily, it's, you know, really, you know, it really draws you in, and it's got a lot of, you know, great bits to it. But then at the end of the day, it is really a really meaningful song too. And so it's got all the essential things to be a very influential, important song. It's just the music business is not the way it used to be, where this would be spread all over the world kind of instantly. Now it's going to trickle around, and, you know, hopefully it'll find the people that it needs to find, and, you know, they'll be able to, you know, make it their own and, you know, take it internally.
For sure. Okay. And how does that tie in with Future Youth Records?
Well, that's their label
That's their
that they're doing all these things on, Future Youth Records, and we were just saying to Tasha today, maybe we should tell people we're on Future Youth Records so people think we're younger than we are.
There we go.
But then we decided we'd have to be on Past Youth Records.
Yeah, exactly. No more youth. But it's a non-profit record label, which I've never heard of, you know, because they do projects that are to, you know, have meaning and actually bring benefits to people. And, you know, they found Tasha because of a was it a songwriting thing contest or writing?
Like
I don't remember exactly how she worded what it was, how they found her, but it was kind of it was something about peace, like I think, you know, but it was like, I don't know if it was writing a song about peace or writing you know, an essay about, you know, peace, but to us it sounds like it's a really kind of fresh way of being a record label, where you're more concerned about promoting change and healing than making money.
Right.
And so that's, I mean, I think it's ideal. I'm very impressed with what they're doing, and hope we can do some more, because it's, we had a blast with Tasha. It was super easy, and, you know, we really dig what they're doing. So hopefully we can do some more of it.
For sure. And what do you guys like best about the business, and what's worse about the music business?
Well, the entertainment business in general, I mean, well, you know, I mean, to start with, and this is age old, it's since it started, you have two words that are exactly the opposite of each other in one name.
Right.
The entertainment business, you know, so, you know, it always, you know, comes down to, you know, business wins unless they find out that some really good shit actually can make them money, you know, and if they figure that out, then they don't care what it's about, you know. But my favorite thing about the entertainment business is that you get to, it's get out the things that you want to say to people, you know, and you make lifelong friendships.
For sure.
And you get to play for people, or, you know, write songs for, do a painting for, whatever you're doing. You get to get your art out there, and then the bad part of it is when somebody wants to take your painting and take a knife and cut it in half and say, let's just use this half.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's the worst part of it. So, you know, it's
Yeah.
no different than any other business. I mean, you have to look at it that way. Although there are more people in the entertainment business that, just because of the structure of what they do, they have to do it. But there are a lot of people who are business people who love the art. It's just sometimes they can't do anything about it, you know, because the upstairs, whatever corporation owns them is saying, nah, you need to do what I'm telling you here.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
No.
Anytime there's stockholders in entertainment,
Yeah.
I think that's where everything got off the rails. When it was just like a one guy, some mogul, kind of picking out stuff that he liked and you know, making money off it, great. But then once you're answering to a board and shareholders, kind of, you know, it definitely takes the art out of the whole thing. But I mean, there's still great artists and art being made, just sometimes it's harder to find it. And but that's always kind of been the case too. You know, the other part,
chance, you know.
well,
I mean,
that's
they used to
true.
give you a chance. Like, there were big bands that we all know from growing up that their first couple of records may have failed, but they didn't kick them out.
Right.
They gave them a chance and they let it build, and then the next thing you know, they're huge. These days, you know, you go out there, especially like in the pop business, you know, I mean, we're in the rock and roll world. We can play till we're 90, you know, if we can still get around, but and do the things that we do. But if you're trying to have hits on the, you know, for radio or internet or whatever, if you fail that first time, we'll see you later, you know. I mean, it's not like it used to be. They don't give people a chance. And, you know, here's a kid who's, say, 18 or 21, 22, whatever they are, and they go out there and they get this big offer, you know. I think sometimes it's better to build slowly. That way people hear you and you get a reputation first. And then when you have your big record deal, then if your first hit or your first song is not a hit, you already have a kind of an audience, and you have, you know, a little bit of, you got some solid ground to work with, you know. But if you just come out and they sign you up when you're 18 and you have one song for a giant label that's in a giant movie, and the movie's, if the movie fails, the song fails, you never hear from them again, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
One-hit wonders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even a chance to be a hit. It's just, it just is like, okay, well, there's you weren't a hit, so bye, go work at a fast food restaurant. You know, it's not a business for somebody that doesn't have basically an obsessive drive to create And, you kind of have to just be single focused on that. What are you doing? I'm a musician. I write songs. I'm going to sing my songs to whoever is going to be there. And you just keep working at it and keep working at it with no plan B. It's like you might have, a day job where or some other way to support yourself, but you can't. I don't think you can make it being like, oh yeah, well I'm a lawyer part-time, and then or I run a store, and it's like, and then I kind of play music on the side. It's like, you can do that. You can have a great life doing that, and it's fun. But at that point, the music is your hobby. But if you want to be a full-time professional musician, it's
You're in here every night.
You have to have basically an obsessive drive that you just can't stop. You can't ever imagine yourself doing something else. It's like that second you go, maybe I'll just be a PE teacher. Now thinking of my my kids' coach, he's I just found out this week that my kids' PE teacher / coach. It's like he was studying or was an audio engineer, just basically the same thing that I did, but he started working as a PE teacher at a school, and he went down that path, and he does it in same thing. He's coaching every single night, every weekend, like every second. It's like his life.
Right.
But it's like that kind of, for kind of anything for you to be successful, you have to kind of have that tunnel vision where you're just like, this is what I'm doing. I'm focused on this. This is all I'm going to do. And
well, if you're going into the entertainment business to become rich and famous, you're doing it for the wrong reason already.
Well, true.
So.
Yeah, exactly. When am I going to be rich and famous?
Yeah, I know, right?
Right. Speaking of which, what keeps you guys inspired?
The things we grew up listening to and the stuff we've been doing and the audience that likes us, our fans, and we just have a deep love of music and the kind of music that we play, the kind of music that we've always really loved and listened to. And, you can go out on the road and you could have a dozen shows in a row that were awesome, and then you'll have a couple that, where you just want to jump off a building. But that's just temporary, and you
it's just the Northeast.
It's just, yeah, exactly. Yeah, except for a couple of places in Jersey and Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. But yeah, you just, it doesn't matter. And those things become stories too. It's like, remember that night we played that place, and we nearly got killed, or whatever it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's like
that's
part
that's
of
really
a
story.
Well, there's been a few of those, but yeah, sometimes you want to get out of town.
Yeah.
But we're a pretty rugged bunch. We all been doing it a long time. The band, the crew, all of us, and we're pretty. We're not powder puffs out there. We kind of, we can hold our own around the people.
For sure, definitely. Yeah. So do you guys like, recording the music more than performing, or the other way around?
They're both awesome. I think. We love playing live. But I have to say, we love the studio so much. This is, if we didn't have, regular lives and families and all that kind of stuff, which is our main focus in our lives, if we were just a couple of knuckleheads that, lived over here and here in Agoura Hills, then we probably would be in here all the time and just sleep on the couch.
Right.
But we have other duties in our lives, and but we also love going out there and seeing the fans. Sometimes you're not playing for your fans, and we open for people a lot too. for really big acts, ZZ Top and Los Lobos and Steve Miller, a lot of people over the years, that we opened for, and so that's their audience. But we've done real well with, if you find somebody that you fit with, it's great. But if they put us out with like Gwen Stefani, it probably wouldn't work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
We're not, they start throwing tomatoes at us.
Right.
The other thing is, being on the road, yeah, we like to see the fans, but we also like, we don't get to see the guys in our band very often other than being on the road. And, we love to hang out with those guys. We love our crew people. But then there's also venues like where we, the people that work there, the owners, the sound people, it's like that we see every year. So, we go see Frank at Knuckleheads in Kansas City. We'll see Paula at the Sellersville Theater. We'll just, basically go around and see our friends that we see every year. And that's really great.
We have followers that go to, like there's these people we know that a married couple, and they're huge fans and have been for years and years. And last year, I think they did like 16 shows, when we were going through the States, They didn't go to Europe, but they
were going to.
They were going to go to, they were even thinking about going to Europe, but they saw 16 shows across the country.
That's dedication.
So we have people like that too, got a few, deadheads,
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Cool.
Yeah, and exactly. It's like if we didn't have those people, like the people that we look forward to seeing, then we would definitely never go out. If we were just going out, it's like, oh, we're going to play, this big show where we don't know anybody and we just play the show and get out, leave. It's like, that's not very exciting to us. You don't get a connection from that. If you're playing a big place, you get a check and you're like, oh, there's my connection. But, we're not at that level.
But you can start a connection with people sometimes when you're playing a place that you haven't been before, It's like you play there and for some reason it just goes over great. And then next thing you know, the agent's bringing you back there next year and the next year.
Right.
So it happens that way sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to call the wife.
Nah.
I'm teasing.
That threw me off. Sorry about that. So what's next for Boxmasters?
Finishing another record.
Well, we have to start. Well, we kind of have started. We've always got projects that we've got kind of, if like we just finished kind of our hard rock kind of record by having, putting Kirk and Raymond on them, where most of our records are a little bit more 60s pop, venturing into, like a little bit of psychedelic, and, early 70s kind of stuff, just, but more pop music. And so then this latest record that we just finished last week is more of a kind of rock, like heavier rock for us, at
We
least.
did what we always do, only we cranked the guitars up and the drums a little bit.
Yeah. So we just had other people play on it, which we haven't done for 4 or 5 records. Okay. And so now we've got an idea of, like changing gears completely and then doing something like a little more organic,
Sort of
Americana, rootsy, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more acoustic kind of based. But we've, got a few songs that we started that didn't fit on the rock record or something else, that might be the next kind of, pop record. So, basically next week we'll start just recording some more things. And it's like, okay, if they go in this pile or this pile, it's like whatever the song kind of leads us to do that we're working on that day, it'll make it into some bucket at some point. We just don't know. And that's the great thing. It's like we can do a crazy psychedelic song that's 7 minutes long in here one night, and the next day do an acoustic kind of folky song. And we don't have to be like focused on, okay, this has to be this record every day until we're done. We can do completely different things from day to day.
And then at the end of the day, put them together and, okay, this is an album of this.
Right.
but it may take us, a year or two.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden one day we've got 14 songs that we could do this folk album.
Well, yeah, exactly. We recorded 60 songs. Let's take this 12 and make it one record, and then we'll take the other, 20 here and put them in this thing, and eventually we'll get it all figured out. But
You guys use every song? Well, you
not
Oh
necessarily.
no, we've got songs sitting around that we've never used. We're just waiting for the right time.
But the funny thing is, like, we had songs from 2009 that we pulled out that had never been on a record before, or a released record, and we dusted them off and put some new tracks on them, and now they're part of this newest record.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they were literally October of 2009 we mixed it the first time. So I don't even know exactly when we started it. It could have been a year before that even.
Yeah.
But, it's like we've got these things and they're all kind of sitting there on a shelf just waiting. Do we need something like that? And, we'll listen to them again. And Billy called me today. It's like, there's this song that we recorded in 2008 or 9 that it's like I want to dust that one off for this newest thing we're working on. So we've got a lot of stuff, and maybe it just didn't fit at that time in the thing that we're doing, but now it's going to fit perfectly. So we're excited to take those things and it's like, oh wow, we did that time. It's like, what? Why would we have done that?
Right.
That's like, what were we thinking? That's cool, but we wouldn't do that now.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a whole different thing. We're completely different players and people and all that. So it's fun to hear some of these older tracks and take them apart and go, oh wow, what was I thinking on that?
Right.
I'd never do that in 1,000 years now, but I dig it.
Do you have any plans on maybe doing like a documentary on the Boxmasters? And
We've had people
footage?
ask us, to do a documentary. So it's something we're considering.
Right.
I think it'd probably be more interesting to do it on the road,
Right.
because otherwise, after a while, if you're in the studio, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
all right.
These two guys sitting there like,
Right.
okay, let's do that.
I mean, you can include footage from a studio, but that needs to be,
Tied
kind
in
of
with some
exactly.
outside.
I mean, the road
Right.
that we got, things happen out there, and that would, I think, be more interesting to people than watching us sit around and say, I don't know, I don't like that bridge. We got to come up with something else. Good with the chorus, but how come you're leaving? Because I got to get up in the morning at 7. And I'm like, all right. So that's what you'll have in the documentary.
Right.
And,
okay. Be back tomorrow.
but
Or
yeah.
sitting here like going,
Right.
wait, no, yeah.
Yeah,
I should go to that. No, that's not working. No.
we
Sit there
usually
for 2
agree on
hours.
just about everything.
Okay.
But that's the good news.
That's cool.
We kind of think alike, so it works out easy. Because some bands, they can, especially in the songwriting world, it can get
Bump heads.
yeah, that happens. But we don't really do that much. A couple of times maybe ever in all these years,
Sure.
and it wasn't even a thing.
Right.
Matter of fact, the other person probably didn't even know the other one was like kind of pissed or was depressed or whatever it was.
Right.
Oh, I knew.
You knew? Yeah.
A couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Had one. No, I mean we had one song that was like we didn't come together right away. The first thing that we came up with, and then like the next day, then we worked at it again, and it's like
Oh, yeah.
then it came together.
Yeah, but that was just like thinking.
Well, that, yeah.
Let's think that over. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it was like,
Well,
that's what happens sometimes when you start a song at midnight
Right.
and you're trying to, come up with it, and you're tired and you're like, okay, I got one idea and that's it.
Right.
And it's like you get stuck on that thing. And so sometimes you just have to sleep on it. And then, luckily, it's, our memory, it's like if we don't record something, we don't remember it very well.
Yeah.
So if you don't put it down, it's like, okay, it's like a whole nother song. It's a whole new song the next day.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember what you
So
did
we usually
before.
pull the phone out and just take an acoustic guitar and just put a little thing down, a melody or whatever.
Cool.
That way we've always got it there.
But if you want to start fresh, just don't record it and you don't remember what you did the day before.
No, that's true too.
And if you guys did a documentary, would you want to direct it?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
No, I'd rather somebody just beat me to death with a 2x4.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, would you like having a director in mind, like anybody that might bring a certain?
There's a couple of people that have talked to us about doing it, and we don't particularly know them. They're, like there's one guy from another country that really wants to do one on us, and so, yeah, I mean, we would probably pick somebody that we get along with, and we know that they know what we are.
Right.
So you couldn't just let anybody do it.
Right.
So. But,
Well, I mean,
we'll see.
I wouldn't want just anybody to do it because I think we're pretty boring.
Right.
So, it's like,
You go to bed on the bus early. You don't know what happens.
well, that's true. I mean, that's because I'm having to, work all day.
Yeah, exactly.
But, it's like even when I'm not in bed, it's like I'm sitting there staring at Sports Center going,
All right.
it's like, how much fun is that?
Yeah, come hang out with me and Raymond one night.
Oh, I have. That's also the reason I don't do it. I am not young anymore and can't handle the craziness.
Gotcha. Are you guys performing anytime soon, like in the LA area?
We're not going out again until late August next year.
Next year.
And then we'll do late August, September, October.
Is it going to be an overseas?
But I'm sure there'll be no. It's U.S. and
US?
Canada.
Okay.
So we know we're doing the Pacific Northwest in Canada. The rest of it is not booked yet, but I'm sure there'll be an LA show.
For sure.
I mean, we always play LA, and this past year we did the Troubadour here.
Let's say the Troubadour.
Yeah. And so we'll have an LA show. We just don't know when or where, but we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, come out and
Yeah.
see us.
I'll touch bases with Aaron.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Troubadour. We saw Kiefer Sutherland there.
Oh, did
A
you?
few years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty dope.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
For sure.
I want to play the Wiltern, damn it.
Right by our house.
Yeah,
Oh,
I played the Wiltern before.
Yeah.
In the solo days, I
Okay.
played the Wiltern, a couple of times.
Is
Yeah,
there
I
a
wanna-
way that you guys would want to play, like the Crypto or like Kia, or maybe you have already?
Well, I mean, in LA, we usually play smaller places than we play everywhere else because in LA, we know all these people.
Right.
So everybody wants a comp, right?
Right. Like a Palladium or.
Yeah, and then you can't give everybody, they give you 25 or 20, whatever it is, and you can't. It's like inviting people to a party. Well,
Yeah.
where do we draw the line?
Yeah.
So we just get a place that doesn't give you, but like 10 comps that say, sorry, dude, but we're also there with, people who come see us every year here, and we love it, but we can get you guys in. We know some people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. That's what's up.
But yeah, I mean, it's there. It's also, we like to hear, like, if your friends don't show up, you don't want to have an empty place.
Right.
So, you also want to play a place that,
Yeah.
you can fill without your friends.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, So,
we do. Yeah.
so, that's, the Troubadour's great, for that. And, El Rey's been good as well.
Right.
It's a good, a good sized room
Sure, yeah.
for us. But, how about the Hollywood Bowl? Let's play that.
Hollywood Bowl.
I'd love to be able to just play that.
Yeah, I know.
Other than having to drive into it. But if we're there all day
Boy,
and
I'll
then
tell
wait
you.
until we're on the bus.
Stack parking.
Oh, jeez.
Crazy.
It's hard to get in there in the Greek, all those places.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
it would just be fun
There we
to
are.
play it
Cool.
once.
Any other artists you guys would want to feature on your records that you guys, might want to work with in the future, or?
well, we have in the past. I mean, we had Skunk Baxter, from Doobie Brothers and Steely Dan. He played on a few tracks years ago. We've had Keith Allison from Paul Revere and the Raiders. And
Kevin Eubanks.
Oh, Kevin
played on it.
Eubanks did a thing for us one time because we needed a jazzy guy.
Gotcha. He was on J-Line, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, exactly. And but yeah, Warren Haynes, from Government Mule and the Allman Brothers, different people, but and we've also played on other people's stuff, that we know. But I mean, for right now, I don't think there's anything right in our minds right now because we know what we're up to next.
Gotcha.
But we may come up with it at some point.
Cool. Well, we covered a lot.
All right, man.
Is there anything else that you want to let the people know?
I think we're good.
Just y'all make Tasha a star because
Yeah, exactly.
She's
worth
she's
it.
a good kid. She's got a great song, and we really are looking forward to seeing what she does next. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I think she hit it out of the park with this one. I mean, it's a
Right.
really, really great song, and yeah, I mean, the first time you hear that chorus, it just goes and grabs you. You're like, "Whoa! What this little girl with kind of a sweet voice, just what she's saying in it." And it's like, "Oh man, that's it'll grab your attention," and I hope it grabs the world's attention.
That's right. Come on, everybody, get Tasha's record.
Yes, sir. And lastly, each of you guys, what's one piece of advice you would give to an up-and-coming, musician, want to get up into the space or into space, but they're a little discouraged? What's one piece of advice that keep them motivated?
Well, first, do the things that you want to say. You may not break the wall down yet. Keep knocking at the wall till you break through with your own thing. Don't try to be somebody else. I think some famous guy a long time ago said, one of the famous poets or writers, I can't remember which one right now, said, always be yourself. Everyone else is taken.
I've
Right?
seen that somewhere. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
great,
Yeah, it is.
and it's a great saying. And so I'd just say that, do your thing, and don't get into it just to go get rich and famous, because that can kill you, or if you do, it still can. If you do make it, you never know.
Sure.
So
Yeah, and also,
stay true.
like in keeping with Tasha's song, if you find yourself suffering from anxiety and depression and, thoughts of self-harm, anything, there's nothing wrong with asking for help.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with, having a medication that just, takes the edge off, just, makes those feelings of anxiety and, sadness just fade a bit, You don't have to be a brooding, depressed artist. You can still brood and be on medication, or being, talking to someone, and that's true for, musicians and artists and all that, as well as just anybody. Because, it's like I had one of my best friends committed suicide a couple of years ago. And, I know he didn't ever seek help. He made some Facebook posts about, how, things were awful for him, but he never asked anybody for help. And, there's nothing wrong with, asking somebody for help. It's like, and there's nothing wrong with getting treated for what's going on in your brain. It's just chemicals that are floating around in there. Just try to get them in line. And so once you get that, then you can focus more on your art and what your focus is, or what it should be, instead of worrying about your life and it's like all the things that are bad that are going on. Maybe you're too depressed to even write a song. Well, get that shit taken care of and get to work. It's not something I learned, early on. It took a long time to get it figured out. And, thankfully because of that, the issues that my kids are having, like, we know that it's fine to get them help and get treatment for them, and they're little. So it's there's nothing wrong with getting help, and you know, I mean, honestly, you'll be so much better off for it, and you'll get more done, and people will want to be around you and work with you and help you. And if you're just a depressed asshole sitting in the corner, you're not going to get anything done for you, and it's really, really hard. And I just say, you know, bottom line is, if you need help, get help. There's nothing wrong with asking for it.